Alright, so there are two good reasons why hiring a developer makes sense. A, you want to scale your freelancing business or agency and just be able to take onto more projects. Or B, you want to remove yourself a bit from the development side and then focus on other areas of your business or outsource certain things. And after talking to hundreds of aspiring developers here on YouTube, also working with 3,000 students in our bootcamp, having worked in an agency myself for 2 years, and talking to dozens of agency owners, I think it gave me a pretty good overview of all the different sides involved. So today I want to share some thoughts on when to consider hiring, how to find good people, and also how to retain them. And really hope you find that helpful. So let's dive right in. Okay, so then let's get started with the when. When is the best time to hire? I've distilled this into a short list of minimum requirements. And first, I think you should already have consistent/predictable revenue, or at least an established pipeline for new leads. Means you should either have a few clients on retainer who pay you monthly and provide you with recurring work, or if your projects are rather one-off, like online store setups from scratch, then you should have an established pipeline to get in touch with new clients. So this could be a great Upwork profile, a strong LinkedIn presence, content marketing, running a blog, maybe a cold outreach system that already works for you. But the point is, you never want to run idle on projects, because if you hire someone, even if it's a part-time contractor, you want to have enough for them to do. And this already ties into retaining people, but we will talk more about that in a minute. The second minimum requirement, especially in the beginning, is that you know how to do the things you're hiring for yourself. So if we stick to the example of, let's say, online store setups from scratch, maybe with a few customizations, I think you should have done that several times yourself, because unless you have a lot of capital, you most likely cannot afford the people who are straight up better than you. Means the first people you hire are probably slightly below your skill level, and then they need direction, training, guidelines. And only if you've done something, several times yourself, you will be able to provide that and build processes around that. So then you can come up with checklists, a sequence of to-dos for different types of projects. And you will also be able to give them feedback, which is another huge factor in retaining people. Okay, the last minimum requirement is then having maximum clarity on who you're looking for. Are you looking for a backend dev? Are you looking for a front-end dev? Are you looking for someone who already has Shopify experience? Are you looking for a generalist who can learn pretty much anything quickly? Do you need someone who can also speak to clients, communicates well? Do you want to hire part-time or full-time? Is it going to be in person or remote? And if remote, do you want to still hire local within your country or also overseas? And is time zone even important to you, or can you also work async? Just try to be as specific as possible. The more specific you can be, the more likely that you will find the right person. Sounds common sense, but as we all know, common sense is actually not that common. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, then next, how do you find good people? I think regardless of who you're talking to, you should definitely have an assessment in place. Means vetting the candidates for their technical abilities, but also their personalities/soft skills. In my humble opinion, personality is even more important, because if you have someone who's smart, ambitious, they can learn pretty much anything. But of course there has to be a healthy balance, or at least some technical foundation, right? So I think the best way to figure this out is by giving them test work. Not just any random test work, but test work that is specifically designed to test for the things you're looking for. I'll give an example. So at Jobmint, our recruiting company, where we do exactly that, help agency owners find good developers, and we also conduct the first round interview for them. All our developer candidates have to first complete a store setup from scratch, so that we know they're familiar with Shopify as a platform. Then they have to build some custom sections, so that we know they're good with HTML and CSS. Then they also have to complete some more advanced JavaScript tasks, because that's what a lot of people struggle with. We also pay attention to things like, do they deliver in time? Are they reliable? Every candidate has to walk us through their solution, so we know, or we see how they communicate. Then we also take a look at their portfolios, because if they've been freelancing, it means they can learn things in a completely self-motivated environment. All these subtle hints and clues that you can pick up, because we want to make sure that we only recommend the best candidates. And I think you can filter in the same way if you want to do this yourself. All right, and that leads us to the next burning question. Where do you find candidates to begin with? Many possible ways. Ideally, they find you. So if you already have a strong online presence, you might just need to do one post on your social media profiles. But if you don't have a personal brand yet, that takes too much time to build and too much effort if you want to hire right now. So in that case, I would rather recommend starting within your personal network. Yeah, maybe you already know other developers or a college graduate who's just starting out looking for their first, entry-level programming job, or a friend of a friend, somebody who knows someone, these kind of things. Don't underestimate your personal network. Beyond that, you can also start on freelancing platforms such as Upwork and try to find good contractors there. That's a bit of a grind and oftentimes hit or miss, but can be good. Or you can also consider paid methods such as job platforms, posting on job platforms, or working with recruiters. And yes, that is going to cost some money, but if you consider how much money you're leaving on the table because you can't work on more projects, or the time it takes to find someone yourself times your hourly rate, or if you hire a bad person and then they leave in 2 months and you have to start all over again, all these opportunity costs, they add up pretty quickly. And that's why it can make sense to at least consider to invest in finding the right person quickly. Okay, so now you hired your first developer, and lastly, let me give you a couple ideas on the way how you can retain them. First, I think it's very important that you have enough for them to do. So that's why I mentioned having a couple of clients on retainer, or at least an established lead pipeline is important. Then second, you want to find out why they want to work with you in the first place. For many developers, this is going to be their entry-level programming job and they just want to learn a lot. So you can give them feedback regularly, ask them what they want to learn, maybe what kind of responsibilities they want to take onto. But of course, it also depends on their personality. For developers from overseas, it's usually the higher compensation compared to local jobs available. So that's pretty straightforward. For other people, it might be other benefits such as working remotely or working on their own schedules. So if you can accommodate these things, let's say within certain boundaries, that would be perfect. Then if you source people from freelancing platforms, some of them may not like the sales and marketing side of being a freelancer. And maybe they're way happier if they don't have any client-facing activities and can just code all day long. So you can ask them that. And then also, especially if you find someone who's really good, I think it's very important to create opportunities for them over time. Because let's be realistic, the salaries in a startup or smaller agency are definitely going to be lower than in one of the top tech companies. So money alone won't keep these people and they will start looking for better alternatives over time. But let's say you have someone who's super interested in building custom storefronts and hydrogen builds. Maybe you can give them a couple hours per week working on that, or maybe even set up a small test project with one of your clients. And who knows, maybe you can even spin this into a real package and add it to your service catalog over time. And then your developer takes the lead on those projects. And even if you have to give them a few percentages commission on these types of projects within the next 1 or 2 years, that would still be better than losing the person if they're really good. Alright, and that's all I have for today. These were my 2 cents on when to hire, where to find people, and also how to retain them. Really hope this was a useful starting point. And if you want help finding the right developer, then check out the links in the description. Otherwise, I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section. And of course, have an amazing rest of your day. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Peace.